Do you like chicken? Do you like margaritas? Well, today I'm going to put those two things together because we're going to be making Margarita Chicken. Yep, Margarita Chicken. We're going to have some great flavors in there with some tequila, some agave, some lime. But that's going to be coming tomorrow in a glaze we'll be making when we actually cook the chicken out on the Weber Kettle. Today we need to make our seasoning, which is going to dry brine this chicken overnight. So let's get that seasoning made. We're going to start with a tablespoon of kosher salt, a teaspoon of cracked black pepper, a teaspoon of granulated garlic, and a teaspoon of chili powder. Just pick your favorite chili powder. I'm using a Hatch chili powder. Just going to put my lid on here and shake. That's what we're looking for. Let's get the chicken ready. So what we're working with here is about a 6-pound chicken. And the way we're going to prep this today is we're going to spatchcock it. If you've never spatchcocked a chicken before, one of the reasons to do it is you get a very even cook over the entire skin surface. So first thing we need to do is we need to remove the spine. So we're flipping it over so we expose the backbone, and we're just going to take a good pair of bone scissors. You can do it with a knife if you have a good knife and you want to try that, but I like bone scissors. Just watch your fingers. Going up one side of the spine through the ribs, right down the other. There we go. Now you can always save this, use it for stock, things like that. It's perfect for it. Still got some meat on it, a lot of flavor in it. And also, if you have any loose pieces of skin here, go ahead and just trim them off. If there's little bits and some fat, that's fine. It's just going to render off as we cook this. But what we're going to do now is flip this bird back over. And what we want to do is you want to kind of snap the sternum here, the breastbone. So you just take your hand, press down until you hear it crack. And that's going to help this bird lay flatter, just like that. So now it's time to season this. All right, so we have our dry brine mixture here, and we're just going to start getting it all over this bird. Want to get a good coating. Make sure you get inside the legs, flip them over, get those thighs. Then we're just going to flip it over quickly. We're just going to give a quick seasoning to the inside. It's more on the skin side we want because we want to get that skin dried out overnight in the refrigerator because this is going to be sitting out overnight in the refrigerator uncovered. Let me get a little bit more here on the top. This looks good. Now let's transfer this to the pan that's going to hold it in the refrigerator. So this is what we're going to be using in the refrigerator. It's just a normal baking pan and a cooling rack or baking rack. Keeps it up off the surface of the pan, allows airflow around it, and it's going to help us dry out the skin because you really want dry skin when you're starting this cooking process. We're not going to put the glaze on until later in the cooking process out on the kettle tomorrow. So this is going in the refrigerator, and I'll see you tomorrow. To cook this chicken today, I'm using the Kettle Zone System from Aura Outdoor Products. We're going to lift up our grate, dump our coals in there. We're going to get our deflector plates in here. I'm going to put a piece of cherry in here. This will give us a radiant zone over almost the entire kettle. Get our other grate back on. Give it a quick brush down here. Then we're going to get our lid on and start building up to temp. My top vent is set to right around 3/4 open. And my bottom vent is set to 2/3 open. All right, we're going to go ahead and get our chicken on here. We're going to place it dead center. I'm going to get my temperature probe in deep in the breast right there. We're going to go ahead and get our lid on here and smoke this Margarita chicken. The kettle temp I'm going for today is somewhere around 350 degrees. If it ranges from there, you know, down to 325 up to 375, I'm okay. I'll just play with the vents until we dial that in. The ultimate internal temperature on the chicken, just like always, 165 degrees. But at 130 degrees internal, we're going to put a great tequila lime glaze on this bird. So let's get inside and get that glaze ready. So for our tequila lime glaze today for our margarita chicken, we're gonna start with a 1/4 cup of agave syrup. To that, we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of lime juice. Next, we have 3 tablespoons of tequila. Finally, I'm gonna add maybe 2 teaspoons of hot sauce. I'm using a Tapatio hot sauce, use your favorite. We're gonna go ahead and mix this up. Gotta start slowly because you have some loose ingredients in there and then that very thick agave syrup. It's not quite as thick as honey, so it should incorporate a little easier. That's looking good. You can see it's kind of a thin glaze, and that's all right. That's what we want for this. All right, I'll take a tiny little taste. Let's see. Oh, nice. Sweetness with a little bit of the kick of that tequila, a little bit of the Tapatio. This is good. Nice tang also from that lime juice. All right, when our margarita chicken hits 130 degrees internal, we're gonna get this glaze on it. All right, we are just at about 130 internal. Our kettle temp's running 354. It's been running in that 340 to 360 range. I opened up the top vent to full to kind of kick it up a little bit here. But let's take a look at this bird and get some of our tequila lime glaze on. That is looking fantastic. It is definitely ready for some glaze. That bird is looking really good. And now we got to get the lid of the kettle back on. Let this finish cooking to 165 internal. All right, we are at 164.2, almost to 165. Let's have a look at this margarita chicken. Looking good. We got some good color on there. All right, I'm gonna do a couple quick checks with the instant read here and see how we're doing. Let's check down in the thighs here. Yeah, thighs were showing 186, 187. I don't know if you can see that on here. Check the breast on this side. Yeah, the breast on this side showing 164, so we're perfect. Carryover is gonna bring that up. All right, we're gonna get this inside, let it rest for about 15 minutes, and then we're gonna have a taste of this margarita chicken. All right, here it is, our finished margarita chicken with tequila lime glaze on it. As you can see, it darkened up there. Those sugars in that glaze will char a bit sometimes. Get a nice caramelization. It's not burnt. Trust me, when you bite into this, if you make it this way, it's not burnt. It's gonna taste great. So let's see, the first place I wanna cut into is right here in one of these breasts, and I'm just gonna go right here. Oh yeah, we have juices flowing. Oh my. I hope you can see just how completely juicy that is. Really nice piece. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside because I wanna cut into some of this thigh meat. Let me just see if I can separate our leg quarter. And we are gonna go right in here. Skin comes off, we'll save that and stack it back on top. I've said it before in videos, the thigh meat on a chicken or turkey, that's my favorite part of the bird. All right, I've got enough pieces of this bird carved up. It's time to taste. Now, usually I'll go for the breast meat first, but on this, I just want to try this thigh meat first because I told you I love it. You might not think that the seasonings in that dry brining that we did overnight would get into the meat because it's got the skin there. We did put some on the underside, but most of it was on the skin side. That flavor, the salt, the pepper, the garlic powder, it penetrated. This meat is flavorful, it is juicy, it's great. Oh. Now it's time for a taste of that breast meat with a little bit of the skin. Let's see. Oh, you really get a hit of that tequila lime glaze in the breast meat, and also some of the hint of the cherry. A lot of times smoke is sort of an afterthought when you're cooking with something like this. You're using a deflector plate, the Kettle Zone System, or anything else. You don't really think of the smoke as having too much of an effect, but really honestly it does. It has a nice little hint in there. Very tender, the skin is just the right amount of crispy. Any more and it would have dried out too much, but I think we hit it just right. That sweetness and the tequila goes so well together. So today I took those components and flavors that you might find in a margarita, and I used some of them in a chicken, and I gotta tell you, it all came together in the end. Juicy, flavorful, great skin, really good color. I would do this again in a heartbeat.
Smells really good.